Hold on. Let him think there because you might cut back off again. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Morning, Andy Lennox, Mikey Kianko. Just imagine this $14.5 million. Woo! A huge sum. But you as a poor man, go out by the road there, you build something to sell a little sugar cake, a little tulum, a little red mango. They come and they breaking you down. You understand? You're doing that to take care of the family. No, you're too poor. You're a black man. You can't do that. You have to stay hungry. But $14.5 million, a huge sum, small sauces, but plenty gravy. Oh Lord, in this country, nothing for the poor man. So I'm calling on everybody, come out in your numbers Saturday in Woodford Square. All you come out, you know everything like that. I'm there. I will be there. Prepare myself already. All you come out, please, in all your numbers. Because watch now, our children, our grandchildren, the generation to come, it will have nothing for them. All you seeing what's going on in this country, nothing for the poor man out here, nothing for us. So all you put aside all your little kakada and come out. Come out in all your numbers. Let us show them that we care. We need something to, and we have our children and our loved ones to take care. So please come out now. I'm trying to bring as much people as I could. Or you come out in all your numbers, because right now my head getting in a gear right now because it's nonsense, the bloodshed, the killing, and all kind of thing in the country. It have to stop somewhere. But the permanent have nothing. We have nothing out here. So please, all you hear my voice this morning. All you come out in all your numbers. I will be there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Miss La Hocketa. Again, Trinidad and Tobago, what's on your front burner while we rectify the internet issue which is being dealt with? We had Lennox in and out, in and out. Let's go to the lines. What's your front burner this morning, caller? Morning.
Morning, Andy. Morning, Lennox. Morning, from report.
Good morning.
Andy, you know this government is budget a certain amount of money for the fiscal year, right? And they've come back every 6 months after, in April or May month, and ask for additional money. I hear they're coming for $3 billion extra to spend. So when Imbert telling you he balancing budget and he has surplus and all kind of thing, his minus he really talking about, because he really coming to borrow, and he causing the debt to increase. So if you think that PNM government doing anything to enhance your life or anything like that, he coming to put more burden on your children, because them go to pay back for that. According to what the ladies say, that's nowadays. Their children going to have to suffer in the end, because this PNM government ain't leaving nothing for nobody. Great grandchildren down the line, Andy. It's only more debt they put in this country into. And before you know it, when you see them leave office, they might have to go before the IMF and face some stringent kind of economic measures in the end. So take it in your pipe and smoke it. Because Imbert coming to tax free more again. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Where's this murder at school, and children may have had their first viewing of the body, Lennox Smith? It's in the headliners.
Yes, very, very traumatic.
Let's hear about that.
The very, very traumatic experience for them as the murder spree continues. Whilst, of course, those in authority playing cheap and petty politics with the lives of these children, and that kind of impact is not, is totally depressing. And then you had the case with this lesbian scenario as well. Then you have, of course, in Belmont, teachers protested because a gunman was on the premises and attacked one of the security guards, and tutor is up in arms. So there's an unraveling now of the education system in unfortunately devious and unacceptable ways. It's nothing that children should be exposed to. But it is clear that this government has lost its way across the board and continues, of course, to generate diversionary tactics. Dr. Rowley is very adept at that kind of attitude, but I'm sure that by now, having regard to all what has happened over the years, we know now, the entire population know now what Dr. Rowley is capable of, and they're only waiting to get rid of this despicable bunch of opportunistic indolence that has occupied government too long for the comfort of the population.
So truth, eh? So truth. Let me do some voice notes here, quick. Some quick voice notes.
Andy Williams, a pleasant good morning to you. Lennox Smith and Mike Kike. Have a blessed day today.
Morning to you too, Bonifasto Villalva. Oh boy, he always doing something, fighting up.
Morning, Andy. It's Johnny from Maloney, from UNC. All you see from Marabuni? Just asking.
There was some videos, I hear it had some very interesting lives that she did a few weeks ago or so, based on DTHA, yeah, on how things going in Tobago. I want them live, so let me make sure they send me them live on them now, man. Yes, Marabuni voice had to be heard. So I want them live. Silver Fox, you are the live, biggest, you are the live.
That murder experience took place at the Monroe Road Hindu Primary School. At the back of it, somebody was doing agriculture in the back there, and a very unfortunate incident. Again, traumatizing the entire school population there.
So somebody come also in the back of the school have a
garden.
Somebody cultivating in the back of the school.
And some altercation took place, and it resulted in the killing of that person who carried on that activity.
So in the glee of children, that go on then, in the glee of children right there, because them in the back of the school and them watching murdering going on there?
Yeah, so because the article saying police said five men in two silver Toyota Hilux SUVs drove through a dirt track to get to a piece of land behind the Monroe Road Hindu Primary School at around 10:30 a.m. So that is right in the morning period, the middle of the morning.
Yeah, continue the article. Let's hear. So why I want you to continue the article too, so people to understand it could come knocking at them door.
Well, I'm reading here. While they were driving in, one of the SUVs knocked down a 34-year-old man. Men got out of the other SUV and chopped a 38-year-old man on his left wrist. A third man, identified as Ronnie Pierre, was shot and killed in the attack. Passers-by took the injured men to the hospital, where they remained up to Monday afternoon. Investigators were still collecting information on the incident up to 2:30 p.m. So it's a live matter that resulted, of course, in a killing and a chopping. Clearly,
so the chopping is one of the bandits and them, or one of the killers and them get injured. So them at hospital.
It appears that one of the SUVs licked down somebody, knocked down somebody, and people came out of the other SUV, chopped somebody, and another person was killed. The person who
but that sounds like a kind of movie. It sounds like a kind of movie, like a thriller, like a drama.
Because, the trauma continues. People are saying, well, what people have lost their temper, they have lost their minds, and so on, and incidents like these. Because if they say they knocked down the man, but he didn't die, obviously, because this one person has died from the report. It means that somebody got angry because of that knocking down, and one thing led to the next, and we have this murder and of course a chopping incident that resulted. So people are on edge all over the country, because that is in Monroe Road and next to the Hindu school. Wow. In Cunupia. So
Wow.
yeah, it's sad. It's a very, very unfortunate time for Trinidad and Tobago. And Dr. Rowley and they just playing politics simply to cover up their nefarious incompetence, impotence, and inability from the beginning to manage the affairs of the country, and will engage, of course, in slipshod and underhand and rank and unadulterated in breach of the law, putting themselves above the law. The rule of law doesn't obtain for them as they undermine, of course, the electoral process to stay in government. So that we must accept them, pay them to stay in office so that they can do us evil. People, that is the reality of Trinidad and Tobago today. But of course, we know what we have to do when the time comes. Elections must come. It is inevitable.
It's Truth Lennox. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you. Go ahead, Beulah.
Yes, all I want to say, Andy, hearing that parent talking about her little daughter, I just want the parents of Trinidad and Tobago to know, please pray. I beseech you all, please pray for your children, because the devil plan is to deceive and to destroy them. Anyhow, right? Pray for all your children. Please pray for all your children, because they are the future generation. And the devil is attacking them in schools. This lesbian thing and this gay thing and things like that. I mean, I have friends who's gay at it, but the thing about it, parents need to stand up for their children, because it is a child choice whether to do what they are being forced to or not. It is their choice. And every choices that ones make, it determines their destiny. Because God knows the plan that He has for us. Plans not to destroy us, plans not to harm us, but plan to give us a bright, a prosperous future. It is written in the KJV. Right? I just want to say again, Mr. Rowley, you gather all them people, Sandy Grande, Toko side there. Why you gather them there for? And you're inciting this race thing. Oh, I watched the clipping with you. All you talking about is Kamala. You have nothing to bring towards the people there. You fool all them people, gather them up there to incite race. And the way how you carrying on the podium there, and you're dancing and you're moving all out. You see, every action has Lennox, how did the old people say it? Every action has a reaction.
Yeah.
Right. The way how you dancing on the pulpit and you only talking about Kamala. You just sleep Kamala, you just get up Kamala, you just eat Kamala. It's always about Kamala. You cannot tell the people what you have planned. That next election come, what you have planned for them. You're not doing anything about the crime, the health sector, roads, everything like that. All that gone, you sweep that under the truck. All you only here talking about is the UNC and Kamala. Why you don't try? Why you don't try and pray and ask God to lead you and direct you and to put the words in your mouth that when you speak, it will come forward with power and authority. Only good things will come out your mouth. Nothing but Kamala, and then you say Kamala inciting race. Is you the one on the pulpit blatantly only talking about the UNC, because the UNC, the majority of them, I guess, is Indian, or the majority of them will vote. The Indian people will vote the UNC. You're always doing that when close to election, but you're doing nothing for the country. You're doing nothing for Trinidad and Tobago, and everybody that's talking against you, you have a problem with them. That is why Kamala says she will take you to court for your false accusation against she, saying that she inciting race and is only one race is commit the crime. Just because the pundits say so. You jump on Kamala concerning that. And these fools going up there to listen Rowley talk like that. Let me tell you something, you could pluck a chicken with pain. Pluck a chicken with pain. And you know what? The owner will still scatter some corn, and you go see how they go run and start to eat it with all the pain, how they're being plucked alive. They will still grab the corn and follow the master. And the same way these people doing Rowley, they're following after Rowley, although Rowley had them suffering. He had them suffering, and half of them I sure just go to church. Half of them I sure just go to the Pentecostal, the Anglican, the Catholic, the Baptist. And what the preacher preaching on the pulpit, what the preacher preaching on the pulpit doesn't apply to them. I don't know what these pastors and preachers preaching to these people following after wrongdoing. Only after wrongdoing. Anywhere they go, this man said talking lies, and these people after them. These people need to go and read the Bible and study the Bible and know what the scriptures say, because at the end of the day, everything pertains back to God Almighty, right? And what Rowley doing to these people, I don't know, because Andy maybe want to take the Toko Sandy Grande area there. He gone there to do this kind of thing to the people, brainwash them and pay maybe pay maxis from all over Trinidad to take up people from all over Trinidad to carry them to Toko to show everybody, oh look, everybody come out and support me. But all that is a lie, and these people following after this false. Oh my God, Andy, I done. I go get vexed.
Wow. The lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. What's on your front burner this morning? Time check, it's 2 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock, and you're listening to the Ground Report. Let's hear what's on your front burner. Morning caller, where are you calling from? What's on your front burner this morning?
Morning to the big wood man. Morning to Andy. Morning to Mikey. Morning to Cuff. Morning Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning, my friend.
And let us my front burner this morning. See how going on, I see that the Gallerina was watching one or two tips on other stations and thing, and the Gallerina talking about they getting $1 billion because it's sure they're going to win that Jacob inquiry that and they decide to get $1 billion. They'll be getting $1 billion from the Piaco inquiry, and they're talking already about the people of Trinidad and Tobago will be getting $1 billion and this and that. Listen. I hear what I want them to do with that money. If they do get that money, tell us definitely how that money is being spent. If you have to spend, right now we need some fire trucks. We're buying 4 fire trucks. PTS might need some buses, we're buying 6 buses. Hospital needs certain machines, heart and lungs and all these things for the hospital. Tell us definitely how that money is spent. So we could trace the money. Because now when they buy 4 fire trucks, it costs X amount of money. They buy X amount of buses for PTSD, that comes X amount of money. For the hospital, machines for the hospital, so we'll be able to trace the money. Don't tell us anything about Trinidad and Tobago will be getting money and spread out across the board. We can't keep tracing that. Next thing that money end up in Balize House to finish that big monster billion down in Balize House. That's the only money to do. Let us know how the money is being spent. We're keeping a trace on our money and we're watching our money. Country need fire services trucks. Buy 4 or 5 or 6. PTSD need buses. Buy 4 or 5 or 6. The hospital needs machine and all these things. That's exactly how the money is being spent. So we can trace the money and say, well, yes, they spend X amount here, they spend X amount there, and we'll come to that. Don't tell us about Trinidad and Tobago getting our money, because when all they say that in our board, it's going in all your pocket. We need small man below and getting nothing. But if you invested in fire services and trucks and all these things, at least it will filter down to the small man. Testers are locked on and listening.
Thank you very much. Oh boy, morning caller, where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
Morning, everybody. Morning. My contribution, is that previous caller, this government don't deserve no money, none, because we are getting none, and we will still be suffering. What we need to do is revolt against this government, boy. Get them out of there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A pleasant good morning to you, caller. What's on your front burner? What's your contribution on the number one program this morning? Let's hear.
Good morning, calling from Digger Martin, and morning to you, Andy, Mikey, Lennox. Listen to me. I want to connect the dots to you see that bomb threat, and I want people to remember 4 or 5 months ago there was an allegation. A fella from the West, a businessman, linked up with the Israelis, and he was the author, allegedly the author of the email gate. The same thing come back again with this bomb threat. Somebody saying is a bomb threat. And you know what happened? The same people parroted to the pink-haired lady, and she went on the media, social media, you know, that communication specialist, and she said the same thing that the man, the head of the Coastal store, went to Toko to say that they basically know where it's coming from, but the police has never investigated that, and I believe it is the same person, and he's not from heaven, and he's not the angel Gabriel, but he's the same person doing the same thing, because you remember, we knew who Mr. Big was, and when the bomb exploded in Port of Spain, nobody touched Mr. Big. They're always saying they know who is Mr. Big, who was behind it. The main man who got the emailgate information into email box, he never go to the police because they know exactly what they're doing, and they felt him big soon to deflect who really is responsible for that. I go and have a nice morning.
Thank you very much. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So trying to make sure the lines are open. Don't forget your voice notes. What other headliners you have by the time there? Go out and make a few call. Lennox Smith, what other headliner besides that chopping no?
I need of necessity to clear up the political Kobo-like nature of this prime minister, and the fact that he would use in his dying days, he being head of a lame duck administration, any port for a storm. So therefore, he latched on, of course, to the outcome so far of the Miami matter, Reeve Ferguson and Brian Quaitong. But the reality is that Dr. Rowley, over the last 8 years, has been focusing on Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her regime between 2010 and 2015. And to put things in perspective, he publicly has said that the matter of Marlene McDonald was one of, even though it was a PNM administration, but it was a previous administration, and therefore he has absolved himself of any connection with that particular matter, even though about three times he insisted and went ahead and gave Miss McDonald a ministerial portfolio. When the police charged her, he then, of course, absolved himself and disconnected himself and disassociated himself with the incident that gave rise to the charges, the police charges, and saying it was in a Manning administration. But he goes up to Toko and change the script and shift the goalposts, and now making it look as though that the recent and other instances where the PNM has, of course, clearly, including, of course, court documents indicating that the PNM has been engaged in political persecution of the opposition, the UNC, and tried to, of course, use that incident coming out of Miami to say that the PNM has not been vindictively attacking the UNC. I want to tell people, disabuse yourself of that kind of opportunistic, Kobo-like picking at skeletons that really and truly is stereotypical of Dr. Rowley and its opportunistic nature. The fact of the matter is that matter was originated in another UNC administration under Basio Pandey. That's the first thing, to put things in perspective. The other thing is that Vincent Nelson is real. The fake oil matter is real. The crashing of the sea bridge between Trinidad and Tobago is real. The questions that this government as a cabinet must answer with respect to the recruitment of over 500 times is real. The fact that they interfered with the elections in 2015 and in 2020, those are real matters. And the fact is that Basio Pandey was persecuted by a PNM administration, and no way should you be enticed or in any way deflect your minds from
you go give us a minute there. Go ahead, Miss Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Good morning, Andy, Mikey, Lennox, Cuff, and to everybody out there. Lennox, well said. It's distraction now because elections are in the air. And you must know when elections are in the air. Yeah. Yes, because he comes with race baiting. That is all Rowlaya is good for. Rowlaya had nothing, absolutely nothing to tell the crayfish posse. So he come out with lies on that platform. And you know, they fell for it. They fell for it as usual. As usual. You see what the Express told us about Foster Cummings. Mark Bassan, and I think this week he's continuing with the report, right? What Mark Bassan said, so he had to take shame out of his face. He had to do that, and he had to stand up there and lie on the opposition. But I am hoping that Mrs. Prasad Bissessar continue with this thing that she's going to sue him if he don't apologize. Whether or not, I'm telling her, whether or not he apologized, is about time Keith Rowley start paying for his mouth. His mouth is too loose. He needs some Lomatel. He needs something for that loose mouth that he has there. And lying to his supporters and coming to talk about it was a coincidence about they had a no confidence motion against Hines, and then there was this bomb scare, Andy the music, and then the bomb scare. You understand? What nonsense is that? And I agree with Diego Martin. I agree solely with Diego Martin. You're coming to talk about bomb scare, and it was a coincidence. Rowley accuses people of what he is doing. Right? And you're coming now, look at how the children were traumatized. You try to make the people feel now that it was the opposition that did it. We don't have time for that. We have an election to win. We have to get you out of office for the nonsense that you're doing. Let me tell all this something again before I leave here this morning. Rowley has no crime plan, no education thing, no trade, right? Health, nothing. The only plan that he has is to lie to the people again to try to get back into office. But I think people are smarter now. And I want to tell people something. All you're talking about UNC have so many supporters and they didn't have a home, let me tell you. If the UNC had done like the PNM and thief out the HSF money and the COVID money and cannot account for that building on Balisay House, we don't want that. We want them to work honestly and we want them to work hard for a home. And I want to remind them also that the original Balisay House was given as a gift to from the Bermudez family to the PNM. So the PNM never sell raffle tickets or told them to build nothing. And sooner or later, we're going to get to the bottom of that Balisay House. So leave UNC alone. If we feel to rent, we will rent. We ain't thieving and we ain't begging for it. Thanks a lot and have a good morning.
Well, go ahead, caller.
Well, I reciprocate Ms. Santa Cruz. Well done. You brought up Beware because, of course, that is exactly what is happening in this country. Dr. Rowley is engaged, desperate as he is clearly. He is ahead of a lame duck administration. He had to postpone. Election. These things are poignant. These things are things that must be put into the basket of deception and weakness and frankly cowardice on the part of this
Of Dr.
administration.
Rowley.
Let them
Hold 1 minute. Go ahead, caller.
a brave face. Put on a brave face, but they are really cowards. He has just 22 seats and pretending as though he got a landslide. Let's take on the caller. I'll speak afterwards. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Lennox.
Good morning. To
morning,
you.
Andy.
Morning to you.
Trinidad and Tobago, Moruga, the bellman. Lennox, you was a teacher, and you understand the things of teaching. I hear people talking about Papa Pig have nothing to do. Papa Pig have many things to do. Lennox, you remember in you going to school the story with Chicken Licken, who went to the woods and she proclaimed she went to look for corn. And while she was there, Andy, she said the sky fell upon her head. You remember what happened Sunday? And she went and she called Henlen, Cock Clock, Duck Clock, Great Clegg, Goose Loose, Toki Loki, and many others. And she came down there with she lie that the sky fell upon she head. What sky fell upon she head? So we know that what took place Sunday, I as an old veteran who understand the mechanics of politics, what the man have to say, Papa Pig would have not much else to say but to tell his supporters, if he's spitting in their face and tell them the rain falling and they clap in their hand. The next I could remember some years ago, that is where the PNM does operate. Mr. Manning wanted to raise water, and Mr. Manning in Tanapuna said he going to raise water and they clapped their hand. I know when I was growing up, when Dr. William came in my village and said if Trinidad was so and so, we in Moruga would have been so and so on the detail. And my mother and my father clapped their hand. My mother and my father, my mother was a die-hard PNM. She died poor, Lennox. Lennox, she died poor. All she had was to support the PNM with her finger. And anytime she go for the dream, for something, she never get nothing from. In fact, she never used to go for nothing. All she said to me, boy, what the doctor say, boy, he is the first, he is the second educated man in the world. And whatever Dr. Williams say is truth. And up to this day, it has people just like she. Some of them who went out like Chicken Licken, who called the force together. This is what's going on today. We Trinidad and Tobago, I always say, I fight in the battle to an end. Only make sure you come out there on the 6th. Come out and support. Let me make the change. It might be too late. Come out, people, and move this PNM. Move these people from here. PNM is the problem. If you move PNM, you would see a difference in crime in every single thing. You would see a difference. Trinidad and Tobago, you all have a good day. Sometimes the word good, but that is what I have to say. See? Come out and support, make change, move this PNM government, and move Papa Pig from there. All right.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, next caller. Morning to you. What's your contribution on the Gong Report?
What's that? Hey, Andy.
Let me hear you, madman.
Listen to this. I tell you 3 weeks ago, when this news break about Qatar, I have to pay and fight to have to pay down $1 million. Already, if people of Trinidad and Tobago are stupid. We stupid people, boy. You really believe you get that money, boy? Think about it now. There's no frozen money already. Eh? Watch me now. Boy, they go pay, they watch me. They go tell him, good job, they have no money. They go pay $500 a month for the rest of their life. Listen to this now. I might get $15 million loan from my credit union. Listen to this. You could tell, but the space reality is great since shooters. Then didn't see a red flag when you take the first loan of $3 million. We have to come and CCTV and thing. Eh? Somebody get kicked back over. Then you can give the man $15 million loan. $15 million loan, boy. And people swallow that, boy. Boy, if I was in that credit union, buy withdraw my money, boy. Racket, boy. Somebody get kicked back there, boy, though. Pull it out.
Oh, Lord. Let's go to the lines. I see a foreign caller was calling the WhatsApp line. Foreign caller, call back. Oh boy.
Or let's say he mad at all.
He really brain.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, logically, cognitively, one
Morning,
could draw
caller.
inescapable conclusion. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning,
Good
caller.
morning.
Where you calling from and what's your contribution this morning?
Morning, Apache here. Gentlemen, I got some information yesterday regarding our Prime Minister, my Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. It is alleged that some time ago, I got this information from a member in the TTPS. I don't call names on TTPS. I have a lot of contact in there. Gentlemen, do you know Mr. Rowley told his maid many years ago that his driver, I know I have his name, but I wouldn't call it because I don't want to offend the guy and offend anybody, or for this radio station to get any problem. But I have the guy name. He was the driver of then Mr. Rowley. You know, the driver went there early o'clock in the morning to pick him up or whatever. You know, sometimes them fellas have early meetings, so you have to go there early. Been there, done that. The maid of the house made a sandwich and a cup of tea to give to the driver. A black man just like Rowley. You know, Rowley come downstairs and see that the maid was making the sandwich for the guy. And he yelled at the maid, "Why are you making the sandwich for the man? Don't he get paid? Why are you making that for him?" Gentlemen, do you believe a minister of that high pedigree will stoop so low to give his driver a sandwich to eat? Is that the man of the man this is? That we have running Trinidad and Tobago? And I go tell you something, that's why I always say, see that PNM minister they call Selwyn Richardson? God bless his soul. God bless him. Because I work with him. That man will get up 3 o'clock in the morning doing his research in his library because I used to see him. The light on 3 o'clock in the morning and he have meeting 7 o'clock in the morning. But Selwyn Richardson have doing research at 3 o'clock in the morning in Federation Park Day. He will come downstairs by himself and give one of the officers who are wrong there, make a sandwich and give me a cup of tea that hour in the morning. Which other PNM minister ever done that? None of them. Especially John Donaldson and Bali. Man, if I tell you the kind of ranks I have on, the kind of file I have on John Donaldson himself, all they will drop dead in Trinidad and Tobago. But then again, remember that them is 1%ers, eh? They work for the 1%.
That when you was police?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Yes. That when I was police. Thanks for saying that. I go say it loud now that when I was police, the kind of information I have. Listen, man, I used to go and meet Dr. Eric Williams personally with senior officers. I would not go into more details again. Go in the back of his house. Anybody ever see the Honorable Dr. Eric Williams with a nightgown and a cigar in the mouth, reading a newspaper in the backyard, in the back porch? Very few men have seen that. This is the nastiness that this PNM. Listen, PNM itself is not a bad party, gentlemen. Let me get one thing straight there. It is certain individuals in it. Men like Rowley, men like Hines, men like Davy, or what she name is, women like she and Aisha Wells and them. Them is the one who make PNM party have nasty party waiters today. And let me tell you something, I say it loud and clear. Today, if that clown we have a Prime Minister to call Rowley, get rid of all them 1% in there. And all they know what I'm talking about. PNM win the election tomorrow. I taking bet on that. PNM win the election tomorrow if they get rid of all them 1% inside there. And I'll take bet on that one. But no, Rowley cannot do that because why? He is controlled. And certain members is controlled by the 1%. And there's nothing he can do about that. Have a blessed one, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much. Next caller, morning caller. Where you calling from? What's your contribution on the Gong Report?
Andy, Takarigua, morning to you.
Go ahead, Takarigua.
Morning.
Andy, when Eric Williams say, I am the boss, you know what you mean by that? I will do the thinking for you. This is why up to today, people that say, Eric Williams give me this, Eric Williams give me that. Manning and Rowley and all of them go up with that. And Eric Williams will do the thinking for them. The only man involved for that stupidness was George Chambers. This is why he's not around today. They can't think for themselves. So what they need to do is go and wake you up and ask you what to do. Go laugh. Look at the state of the country. They cannot, and these are simple things, when you get brainwashed, and I do the thinking for you. They just can't think for themselves. I mean, look at the mess they're making in the place. And as for the lady who called and said the people must pray for the children, she's correct. If you understand Revelation and you read it, Andy, for what it really is, use your imagination and read. The plan of Satan, I tell you now this already, yeah? It's for we to eat our own crap. And if it's hard, use a knife and fork. If it's soft, like soup, use a spoon. That's the devil plan for mankind, and you could see where we're heading. Look at this incident with the girl in school. Eh? My suggestion to she is, boy, well, forget school and what. Don't laugh so much. Leave school. I had a cousin when you were going to school and you just certain age, Andy. He tell you, oh, please, I don't want to go to school again. He said, what you want to do? He said, I want to bring down jukebox. He said, right, you bring down 25 boys. See all the jukebox all over Trinidad, Andy? All in talk all about, that was my cousin only. He leave school and he died a millionaire. Not one jukebox, he moved on to other things afterwards. Right? So, that girl should leave school and go and learn something otherwise. You want to go to school and even you have a certain amount of sense. Learn a trade.
Yeah, but then what should we be doing? What should we be doing about that ring in the school that want to beat up people children that don't want to be a lesbian with them? I can understand. So people turning lesbian and thing in school. People turning gay and them kind of thing in school too.
Don't forget the legalized thing. Don't forget the woman who the morning say, thank God for Dr. Rowley. That legalized. So the only thing you could do if you want to get involved in that, leave the bloody school. I'll go and learn a trade, make yourself independent of that nastiness. That's why I feel, Andy. Leave the school, go and learn something. You can learn a trade. Send for a course away and read. Educate yourself then.
Yeah, but then why it should be like that? Whereby, I mean, you could be who you want to be, so long as you're not wanting to be
but if
with,
you want to be
with
in
me.
school out to take off your clothes and rape you. That's how I say it's law. They're more protected than we. If we call a man a bull or whatever, we could get locked up. Right? They have more protection than us, the straight people. That's what I tell you what the devil plan for all of we. So the only way to free yourself for that, just Andy here what happen just so, eh? The law will come with them to work on one side and you will have to work on the next, you know. I'm telling you. You've seen it big. They legalize the bloody thing. So that girl, come out of school. Go and learn a trade. So do something. Free yourself for that. You straight. You don't want to go to children. You do always right. I will come out of the school. Thanks for Andy.
Thank you very much. I don't think I would have encouraged my child to come out of the school. I believe that the Ministry of Education is supposed to put things in place
the
to deal with that. Exactly.
They're taxpayers, they're citizens of this country. None of the ministers or those in authority would want to be subjected to that kind of abuse simply because they are citizens and they expect the state to protect them. So you're quite right. I just want to touch on
wait, we have a caller on already, Miss Roadbook. Yeah, Miss Roadbook, we are here. Let me just run all them calls and then you go in. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah.
Good morning, Andy, Lennox, Mikey, and Cuff. I want to ask, the first thing I want to ask, anybody noticed where the union come out from after all them years we seen them, but we see them yesterday? Where them out? Eh? People should boo them off the street. They come out here all the time, they ain't talking, they ain't saying nothing, but they come out to do what? The Papi Show people? I want to find out from you all, and I want the public to know. All I want to find out who had the email for the school bomb. Ask the people who had the email for the fake email for Amla. The fake email, ask them to go tell you.
Yeah.
Miss Roadbook?
They look for that. No, she finished.
She finished already?
Yeah, well, let them look
all
for
right.
that because
go ahead, Mr. Faisabad.
He has the track record for that. For false emails. Good morning.
Good morning,
Faisabad.
Andy, Lennox, Mikey, Cuff, and Tobago.
Good morning.
Uncle Lennox.
Yes.
You see, everybody have the rights under the Constitution. The anthem say every creed and race are in an equal place.
That's right.
But now, you see, when people in authority and in office that corrupt others to get their way is a nice thing. So it trickled down from Rowley cabinet to all the public sectors regulation bodies, and now it is the school system, because they're so complacent in thieving and they don't want to hear nothing. So it's plain to see. I saying it, right? Because they can't play mass and trade powder. Because they're doing things now to get a illiterate society. So that is enough on the young lady and that organization. But you see, the justice system, right? If we have a head of justice, which is the Chief Justice, then they come down to the DPP, and then they come down to the Attorney General, right? When they pass laws to protect man back, when it's a man on the back playing football, the man on you, this is what you get in society, a breakdown divided. But keep going.
What's Faizabar? Faizabar?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let me know nobody how we talking, so because I understand whoever, but I believe in always talking for everybody to understand, because yes, we go read between the line. So you're talking about having a man back, the gays, we had to let the students, we had to let people understand. We the big people will understand. However, it's not that bashing or not this or not that, but we're explaining situations whereby, again, I respect the gays, I respect the lesbians. You could be who you want to be so long as you not being with it with me. But it must never be that we put in a corner where we are to talk in this kind of way and frightened to talk because them so powerful, because they're in the judiciary, they're in the police, there's the big business people, they had the place locked, they're in Hollywood, they're all over. We must not be able to talk. Why we must be afraid to talk? Them afraid to express yourself, them afraid to talk.
Right? And the nice thing about it is just because of the airways, and I know that the puppet will try to bring me in dispute, so I'm using words friendly. But I can say it plain, right? But the nice thing about it, okay, let me go on the topic, is that let's imagine the LBG community is fighting for recognition and for a part to be recognized and respect their body and to respect their life, because they is a person who found the new self. They find the real self, and they want to express the right to express, right? To express oneself. But under the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, each person have the right to express themselves within their own domain, with not overstepping other people's bounds and privacy. This is what I get at. But you see now, when Keith Rowley and Ola and them, you put them in place to do things and they're not doing it. This is where the problem is. Because they are overstepping their boundaries. And when you're talking about it, they will send their goons to try to hush up. But the nice thing about it, Mahatma Gandhi take his own dog from India and went to the British. And you know who killed the Indians and fight for the British in India? Is Indian. Who fight for against Mandela in Africa? Is the black man who was in the British Army. So understand, when I be talking, I just try to say, I thought you're not educated. But you see, when you had to explain to them that Keith Rowley talking racist and pushing racist, the narrative down the people's throat, and in his cabinet he taking us the East Indian people and pulling them to run the show. That is the show that he don't trust the African diaspora, and they have nobody to fill the vacancies. So 1 minute he's showing that the UNC band and the East Indians are people not to trust, but look who he have around him. And then because you see, they put things in place and they identifying the ills in society what they put to create a problem. Just like the Mosquito Creek, they spend money to create a problem and then they pay money to solve the problem. So this is what I'm trying to explain in a diplomatic way. Because on the head of the judiciary, when they had a problem, they pass a law. And it's a judge himself give the right that you could give consent. But then the law come under Farah Sawari because like he wanted to protect somebody in his family from going with an overage person. So you see how the law is twisted. You tell you that you underage, you have to behave yourself a certain way, right? And you have your right to be a certain way as long as you don't affect others. And this is why Keith Rowley and the judiciary, the police service, and everything is corrupt. He overstepped his bounds, and nobody is standing up to him. Because why? Who is he? Because he, under the Constitution, he held he controlled the majority in Parliament, and he said George is the next wicked one to society. So that is why we can't go nowhere, and this is where it trickle down. The only thing that's trickle down from the government is the wickedness to the people. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
And there's a new term for, of course, home invasion now. They call it Julia Davy. Clearly a spokesperson for the PNM.
Where she gets herself in, boy, Lennox Smith, boy.
Yeah.
What Julia really gets herself in with this kind of...
I don't know, but they're calling it Julia Davy. So anytime there's a home invasion, Julia Davy, I mean, and she has put herself at the epicenter of this phenomenon that is now plaguing Trinidad and Tobago, and of course representing the PNM at various what I consider to be public and media settings. So
I don't know how managed Julia Davy make that total roundabout Lennox Smith when I know Julia Davy was a diehard supporter of the East Indian people, the UNC, by how she just turn around, just make a roundabout turn.
Apparently people don't know she contested the Laventille West constituency under the UNCA. Remember, she was a member of my party, Love, that we went into the UNCA with.
That's when I contest Diego Martin notice against Colin Mboto.
When you
under UNC ticket.
That same election, yeah.
So well, I think there has to be, I think there has to be some compatible ideology in order for one to feel comfortable making these comments, because believing that is going to be accepted, by the organization that they represent, the party, as the case may be. Yeah. Because I mean, to make these statements, as Andy is saying, I mean, how you get yourself tapped in that, and Lennox is saying is that when people going to commit these things now, they say, well, let me go and do a Julia Davy. Because that's, right. That's how it's labeled. I see a man do a Julia Davy, run into this man's house, I see that one. I mean, at the end of it all, I mean, when you make statements like that, so loose and reckless, and, given the opportunity to explain and to expand on what was said there, it beat around the bush, and what I meant was... and
yes, talk, Mikey, go ahead.
I really wasn't picking out nobody, and, but it's always the they versus them kind of situation. And he's correct. Julia never used to speak like that. But again, I guess it's a very compatible ideology that is all part of the organization.
She adopted our culture, yes, that's right.
Adopted our culture. And why not? Because if the leader himself, where it is you have the opposition leader have to come out and say that those statements that was made over the weekend in Toko show that Keith Rowley is a desperate and dishonest man whose game is up. This is from her press release. I have never in my life accused one race of committing criminal attacks against another race in our country. Not lately, not now, not ever. Keith Rowley must know that racial tensions can be incited by falsely accusing me of making this divisive statement. It is most irresponsible, it is dangerous, and downright nasty politics because they're desperate. That's why they'll even talk about jumping somebody wall up. They are desperate. What issues can they speak on? What can they tell us for the past almost 8 years that they have done to elevate the lives of the citizens of this country? Where people could say, my God, I'm glad they come up with that, because I always hope that we can get something like this. And look how this come and make this easier. Look how this come and now we can access this. What have they done for anybody to have that type of narrative to explain or define this administration? She says it is also defamatory of my character and flies in the face of my many years in politics, where I have always celebrated our national unity and our harmonious diversity. They say who the gods want to destroy, they first make mad. and she is demanding an apology and a retraction from Dr. Rowley and media houses that just simply blasted this out, because they're always monitoring. They always have to hear what Pitbull say, what Lennox say, what Mikey say, whoever. They know, they're monitoring what Robert Amar say. But when these things come out like this, nobody says a word. And she's right. She called upon him to do the right thing and apologize. And he must set the record straight and admit that was said was a false and malicious statement. And she's extremely concerned by some media houses that carry that blatant lie without first speaking to her or attempting to get any comments. These media houses know that the statement by Keith Rowley was false, but still persisted in disseminating it. Come on.
No, and I commend the opposition leader for that stance that she is taking. And if she had probably done that back then, when, of course, those false emails came to the fore, a concoction of Dr. Rowley's pernicious, evil, and destructive imagination, there might be a different story today. So the fact that she has taken proaction on that, demonstrating, of course, that Dr. Rowley simply is out of his depth, has always been so, and doesn't deserve to be Prime Minister or head of the PNM, or indeed head of government in this country. I think it is a very welcoming situation, having regard to her own character, because she likes to be a bit complacent and very amenable and so on. But she has to take up the gauntlet, and she has to, of course, take the fight to the
and listen, and demanding that they do the right thing. I mean, resign, call an election, man. I mean, here you have Foster Cummins on the stage with you. But again, one has to ask the question, what kind of environment is it? What kind of environment when it is that we keep each other secret? And what code is this? And how much has to be kicked upstairs? All of these things are questions that people would come to mind, because they say, listen, it just does not add up. Andy, who we have on the outside, my brother? Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Andy, you there? Lennox, are you there?
Yes.
Sorry,
I was just trying to make a link there with the Single Fathers Association and Pastor Clive Duttins.
Oh, good.
But the lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago.
Andy, thank you, Andy.
Go ahead, caller.
Andy, morning. Mikey, morning. Mikey.
Morning, brother. Morning.
It had a Julia Davies in La Romaine last night. I don't know if you checked it out in the news for me.
All right, thank you, caller. Who's on the outside? That's what you're calling it now.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Andy. Listen to this now. My DK Lennox. I have a radio station here, boy, Andy. Andy, for granted, I have a radio station here. People will call me to talk about the same thing we are talking about somebody credit union, you know. People will kakadang there, they should be getting a nice little interest, and then fellas and them, they will not know me you. Shoot, they call me to me, they will not know me you and Clico, and Caribbean Finance for them, and the executive man buying land and house in Miami all over the place with people money, boy. And you give people $15 million, boy. You should begin it dance. I tell you, real people get kicked back on that thing there, and you see that kind of nonsense, I have to stop. They have to stop, baby. People can be soft. Financing conclusion now there, and people lost in the funds, boy. But listen to this now, Andy. 30 years ago, a woman says she get raped by Donald Trump. Listen to Andy. Listen to this now. What them foolish do, judge and them now, boy. Would they be making case to hang up man, all over the place? 30 years ago, you say you get raped, you damn well know you was going in the big hotel with the man. You get paid, you feel good, you had a good time. Your body raped now after 30 years? What happened to Donald Trump? He leave a fingerprint.
We don't know. We don't know who had. We don't know who had what kind of time. We don't know that. No, we can't do that. Regardless of what, you can't come here and try to, justify rape or allegations of rape, madman. You can't do that. We don't know. We don't know. You have people
We
who are
see police.
traumatized by this thing.
Yeah.
We don't know. If you have your personal assessment or whatever, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you can't share it with people on the radio because many of them would not agree with you, regardless of what. If the claim is made, it has to be investigated. It has to go to court. Nobody know who went and had a nice time and so forth. Who's on the outside?
Andy.
Good. Hey.
Andy.
Morning caller.
Don't forget to find out about Annie said the Siemens on Waterfront. Don't forget that. Go ahead. It's neighbor. Don't forget that.
But before you go, all I want is an idea. Give people an idea one time. I'm happy that you are here. You are calling from outside Trinidad and Tobago. Don't you all remember Siemens and Waterfront? But I want to just give them a brief history where you will be able to break down why you are saying that. Because you will know that because you were involved in that and we are analyzing. But I'm sure many people who listening, Mikey can all remember back then it used to have something like a boot camp, all shagaramas where people go and learn electrical work, this, that, and get a trade. And I know real people down to my cousin who lives in Miami, have penthouse, this, that, work in the airport doing electrical thing. We also had new back then, whereby our people in Trinidad and Tobago, young people used to get the opportunity to go work on ships in Jamaica, in all the rest of Caribbean islands, Trinidad and Tobago, and he gonna break down everything to you. In all the rest of Caribbean islands, most of the ships that docks in those countries takes employment from those countries. This gentleman is part of that, where we're going to explain to you, where he see all over the world doing well and know everybody who was getting through to work on ships from Trinidad and Tobago. But again, I really don't want to say Michael and Anisette, but all you analyze. So you bring the story to the people, why it is you are saying that Michael and Anisette mash up the shipping. Go ahead. I don't know.
Michael Anisette and those fellas responsible for the Siemens and Waterfront Trade Union closing down. This is where everybody get the opportunity to get a break in life. The Siemens and Waterfront Trade Union and they today still closed down and everybody staying quiet. It's only the blind fella who used to sail that was on Amar show and Wallace, we called Patrick Gray, talk about that. And nobody saying anything about that. Every one of us get the break through the Siemens and Waterfront Trade Union. Also, Winston McClure responsible for a lot of us that migrate from Trinidad. And that is something the new administration, Tanti Kamala, have to look into.
So you are saying you got so what you so go on? Give them an idea what it's about and what you so go on. So just give them a brief history so they will know where you come from and many people you know. Go ahead.
And they like the grain ship, the big grain ship that come into the flour mill. The contract for that grain was Jerome. Right now he moved to Carriacou. He had a contract for over 30-something years, bringing in the grains to the flour mill. So like every 6 months, they change. Half the crew came off, the deck worker, the oiler, whoever, the cooks, a new set take over. And it just used to rotate. Lot of the ships, the methanol tankers, all those ships. Mongo, Jarvis, all those fellas used to get work. Everything used to go right in those days. Now, Anisette is the one that's responsible and keeping that Siemens mission closed today. That Siemens, the wicked to society. Those are the fellas that causing the crime in Trinidad and Tobago. They don't want young people to go on ship to buy no house to be successful in life. That have to stop. Those fellas take paid off, boy, to keep the Siemens and Waterfront close by. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He made some valid points there too, Andy, because
go ahead, Mikey.
I remember the days of Mongrel because my my uncle and my grandfather were part of the SWWTU. So I remember Mr. Mongru and many of the other guys. And what he's saying there is true. Things used to run very effectively.
Jarvis was really good. Jarvis was a good man.
Yeah, yeah.
They went to Chaguanas to close down Winston McCloud. Anybody find out about Winston McCloud in Chaguanas? He's one of the best who used to crew everybody to put them on ship. Everybody, Winston McCloud. He was one of the best.
So he get a lot of work and put young people in Trinidad and Tobago on ships.
Yes, 100%.
But let me ask something. In Trinidad and Tobago today, are our people getting the opportunity to go on ships?
No. The same wicked union man, they're responsible for keeping that place closed today.
And how this man play a role, the union leader now?
Because they don't want to open up the Seamen's mission, they don't want to open up the Seamen's union. These fellas keep it closed because they're taking paid off from preventing young seamen from going out on sea.
But that's only to help the people. That's only to help our people. I can recall many people go and do safety courses in swimming and this and that.
You go along to the salt factory, the salt factory down in Chaguanas. We used to go and do sea survival. Down by the fisheries, we used to do sea survival. We go, we get documents, everything put in tack. We go to the hotel school, get all our documents. We get B1, B2. We go to the Seamen's Hall. Your name used to be on the board outside. Everybody sit down, talk about the ship that went on, come off. Everybody laugh and talk. It don't happen again. This union, the Seamen's and Waterfront Union, the toilet full with shit, everything locked down. Nobody cares. And he said, that man, they're responsible. That wicked, dirty man are gone.
Mikey, the man gone, Mikey. The man get vexed, he hung up.
Yeah. Well, again.
But Mikey, you have an idea about this thing we talking about? You have an idea with this thing you talking about? Because he's talking like it's a red.
As a young fella, I remember somebody named, because my grandfather was also part of the SWWTU, and he was on the executive, and there were a lot of opportunities. Yeah, I had cousins and people who went and they benefited and what have you, and they travel. So this is something we really have to look at, because I remember the guy who used to from Carnage who always used to call in and always used to tell us, hey, there's opportunity there for young men, and especially in that area where a lot of the fishermen, there are a lot of good fishermen there because they get tied up in narco trafficking and what have you, because their back was against the wall. They basically had nothing. They had to feed their families. It wasn't easy, and yet still they haven't worked out that whole having access to the fish, because there's one set of bacchanal down there on that side. But anyhow, that's for another day. But as far as depriving people, citizens of an opportunity, now we can't turn a blind eye to that, Andy. Come on.
Because that's big opportunity, and he's living proof. The
big
man
opportunity.
Say he visit most of the countries in the world. From here you think, however, thing. Say real people strive. Oh God, boy, so you telling me that opportunity where he get, we governments or union leaders and them keep an opportunity like that, boy? Them and understand when they take away opportunities, the only thing they leave for a young boy to do is look for the opportunity for who giving them it. And when them gangsters and them gain them the opportunities on the blocks to sell the drugs, to sell the guns, to go and kill people for $2,000 and $3,000. Why, boy?
Yeah, Andy. And they're telling you, because they have a clear idea what's going on. They say, listen, man, we can't be suffering, and people, here the kind of food people eating, here the kind of things people getting. And that's why we can't give up. Don't forget, this Saturday, May 6th, Aranguez, and then to Woodford Square. You'll hear more about it today because we'll be blasting it out. So please, folks, those of you, get ready. It's all about crime. Our brother Victor Roberts was on yesterday, so get ready for that. Also, we have some more letters to drop off with our friends, our good folks. We are going back to drop off more and more correspondence because we have to, and we have to go to the office of the Commissioner of Credit Unions, Deborah Ann Scott, Andy.
Yes.
There are questions that need to be answered. Why is she not treating all credit unions equally? How you could want to challenge ECU AGM on one point that you interpreted incorrectly, and you know many other credit unions did just what Eastern did, but you only want to raise the matter with ECU. Why? You should know as a commissioner, Deborah Ann Scott, you should know, leading a government agency, that you should be fair and balanced to all credit unions. And this is not being fair and balanced. When you act like this and behave like that, like you must resign, you have to resign when you behave like that. It's either you don't know your job or something is not right in that office. If it's either one or the two, you must resign. If it's both, you must resign. The only thing facing you now is to do the right thing and resign. That's what we're talking about. Do the right thing. And what is Jerome Chambers' role in the commissioner office? All of these things we have to find out. Is it that he's simply waiting to be tipped to become some inspector of credit unions? Has that been advertised? Where's this inspector of credit unions? Who's waiting to become inspector of credit unions? Under the new systems to do what? To govern credit unions? Is there a new system that the government is trying to implement? We also hearing right here that credit unions are resisting this new system. So how did Jerome Chambers get in there? To do what? On whose behalf? Who? You know, man, think about it now. Every day in the papers. Tell me when last you hear about Eastern Credit Union, there's an issue. Agricola, there's an issue. Venture, there's an issue. Works Credit Union, there's an issue. Look how many credit unions for the first time have so many problems with the commissioner's office. And yet there's a deafening silence from Deborah Ann Scott's office. Why? Come on, Deborah Ann Scott, Hyacinth, Mo, all of them, they have to resign, and they're resigning now.
They have to. Wrong is wrong. And at the end of the day, the challenges Trinidad and Tobago in what we have to do, we have to do. And we will be victorious. So like the next challenge, we have to go by the commissioner's office. We have letter to deliver. And don't watch nothing as simple. Every little thing we do strategically, especially since the DPP office to now, will have an impact. And we need your impact. Very, very, very soon. We have to go by the commissioner of credit unions.
Any minister, Andy, any minister who had to deal with his or her private business, step down as a minister and go and handle your business. Simple as that. Apparently you want it all. You believe it's your God-given right to be so greedy and to justify your greed. If you want to run your private business, then step down as a minister and go and run your private business. But these questions have to be answered. Is it that the government is trying to take over ECU and several other credit unions? And the question is why? No time before, we've been hearing all this chaos and problems happening in credit unions. Works, Venture, Agricola, Eastern. Who next? It just does not add up.
It's not enough at
and
all.
Who is the line minister for the credit unions? Who's the line minister?
Foster Cummins.
A man who they said didn't have a good track record with credit union. And just so they write off debt for this man. And he went back and he got over $14 million. Over $14 million. Is this why they want to get their hands on the credit union to control them? Why? What a minister want with $14 million to do what? To do what? Contract business? So a sitting minister who's supposed to do work for the ministry is being allowed to run private business for himself? Isn't that illegal? How that making sense?
Understood. And
Did he and this same Jerome Chambers work in the commissioner's office at any time? Were they dismissed? And if they were dismissed, based on what? On what grounds? Because they come in, you know. You're fighting down the black man. You're attacking the black man. We have against the black man. Hey, listen, man. Tanty money, uncle money, your money, my money. So we're trying to tell me, just turn a blind eye? We turning a blind eye to this? Because what? They're going after the black man? Over $14 million to do what? When you supposed to be doing the work for the ministry, you can't be running no private business. And here it is, we never heard about this before, Andy. That here it is that you have a minister that could have bad debt in a financial institution or any financial institution, then go back to the same institution and get a loan? Are you telling me we mustn't ask if there's any ministerial influence in all of this? Don't pay back $10 from the $500 you borrow now. And that $10 going on as a bad debt, and you could never get a loan again. The amount of things you had to go through, but you talking with huge debts, and you got over $14 million after the credit union wrote off a significant or a large bad debt. And again, we are not to ask if there's any ministerial influence. Why? Why? Well, when we reach in front of the office, I hope that Brian Scott is ready, because we ain't sweeping this one under the carpet, you know. We ain't turning a blind eye to this, you know. All these players and all these people that make up the support staff, you'll have to answer, you know. You'll have to answer. You could flip, dip, and skip, but you have to answer. Because this, Andy, is wrong.
Does it have any charges or anything in this that's supposed to be laid or anything?
Andy, from now on, every time we go to drop off correspondence, we're heading right to the headquarters of the TTPS. So the commissioner will know, yes, Andy.
Nice. So we will be carrying the files from the DPP.
Not done above board.
So we'll be carrying the files from the DPP and the files with that to the commissioner of police. So after this, the next step is by the commissioner of police to carry and ask her what is her stories dealing with this. This is good. This is good. Yeah.
Because if you don't know, Madam Commissioner, we know.
Yeah. And we bringing it
if
to
you didn't read the story in the papers, hey, we'll carry a copy for you. And also a copy of our show. Because we need to find out what is going on. And all the supporting players, all the people that make up the support cast, we need to let her know who these individuals are. Because Deborah Ann Scott has to resign. Hyacinth, Mo, all of them, they have to resign. How this thing end up being under this ministry to begin with? It was always under Labour. So who sat down and crafted this whole thing? This is what I want, because I have a plan, and the plan will be so. And who said, okay, green light, go ahead, move it from here to there? Why? What was the incentive? What was the reason? Tell us, what's the logic behind all of that? That you put it under this new ministry. First time, it was always under Ministry of Labor. How many people eating in all of this? Anyhow.
And Mikey, that's why I always say at the end of the day, when them do that and the white collar crime and them kind of thing playing off, and when them operating so, how we expect crime to done? And that's why I will want to introduce this one time, because this is part of what it is. They, all of them, the Wilson Nelson, the Rowley, the everybody, that the commissioner of police, everybody, the president, everybody, the people that's supposed to be so people at the cloth that continue to stay quiet because all they're eating and all they don't want to lose all their food while the country dropping and being destroyed and all of us going down in it, it will come back to you. And this is the cause of all what they're doing. Listen to this. All what they're doing.
Good afternoon, everyone. Walking through in this walk, Pastor, I see so many young boys, and it breaks my heart. And you want to know why it breaks my heart? I'm looking at the statistic of men. The whole country know I just stand up for man, even when people want to blast me all over the place. But I remember the statistic last year: 605 people died. 550, which is 90.7%, is men. Out of that 90.7%, 65.5% is African men. And we may think it's 550 men. But to me, that is 550 generations by soldiers here, men. I ain't come to tell you nothing about no war. I come to talk with love, brother. Because I understand that you're going to have circumstance. I understand you're going to feel people against you. Big man with big guns will come and cry in front of me because they believe me. Nobody don't care about them. Bandit, gunman, police, army man, everybody. Man come before me already and cry with the hurt and the pains that they have within their heart. I want you to understand the value of life, boy. A life is not something you just walk and pick up and just get it back. Men killing everything. You're killing your brothers. You're killing your wives. You're killing yourself and all two white brothers, boy. In the space of 3 years, 320 men commit suicide. What's going on? What is the love, brothers? I understand what they're going through circumstance. But we have to understand the purpose and value of being a man, being an exemplar. The little youth men in school who are looking up to you. Be a proper example to them. It breaks my heart to walk down that street and see so many young boys. And I don't know, the next time I walk back here, 2 or 3 of them pick up a stray bullet. We have to take some level of accountability as men, boy. We are the seeds of this world. The world can continue if men die out. Who don't know? We are the seeds of the world. They will go and commit a crime, running from the police, with your seed and your generation within you, for the police to gun you down with your whole generation inside of your bike. If Martin Luther King father they do that, if Nelson Mandela father they do that, what would have happened to black people in this society today? Understand the value of your seed. Mothers, brothers, sisters.
Nice, and we have him, the Single Fathers Association President, Mr. Seals, on. And, short and sweet, because the story that you just did there says a lot. And give us an idea what inspired you. You go ahead. We have Mikey K in studio, Lennox Smith, and myself.
Yeah, man. Morning, brothers. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Morning.
I mean, this was a walk that was invited on by, it was held in the St. Helena area by the council of the area, Samuel Sanka. And he had invited Pastor Dutton, myself, and a couple others. Some of the crime spots or the hot spots, so to speak, for lack of a better description. To go and speak on some of these corners, speak on some of the corners where they were having the murders, speak on some of the corners where they were having some of the narcotic activity taking place. So we had the opportunity. We went as a group. It was our crime walk. The residents came out, members of churches, mandirs, a number. It was a united front, a united stand, African, Indian. It didn't have no race, no diversity divided us on that day. So we went together as a people at Trinidad and Tobago. I was strong. And at the end of the day, when we stood up in these areas, the Guard and Emergency Branch also was there giving support as well. I mean, I was inspired to talk to some of these people, talk to some of these youth out there, because the thing is, it's good to show the strong arm approach that we're not going to tolerate crime, because we're not going to do it. But also, you have to use the opportunity to educate too. Not everybody have a level of moral education as well, because we just understand academic education, but not plenty people to have that level of moral education. And that is why you could see men running into certain places, robbing and thieving, and have no moral impact on them. That is why you could see men sit down in their big high chairs and signing away hundreds of millions of dollars and doing white-collar crime because they have no moral education inside of them. And that is the importance and the value of being able to show and teach them kind of things. You know, some of these fellas in some of these circumstances don't understand the value of their own life. How they could care for somebody else's life. They don't care if they're dead. They don't care if they're in prison. So they're running anyway and kill anybody. They're running anyway and take anything from anybody. It's the same thing like the man who up on top, who don't care that if he thief $100 million, it's $100 million less for people to get facilities, for people to get some form of employment, for people to get some kind of relief, social relief in the country. So it's very similar what happening on the boat spares, you know, up on top and down below. And it's a lack of moral value.
Right, but let me ask something.
Kindness.
And let me ask something then. Well, if it's so, and I as a youth, that's what I was thinking too, right? That it must start from the top. And when the youth's watching a prime minister talking how he talking, he watching a president who is an activist, who is a political activist, end up a president, watching the whole issue of Vincent Nelson and all those different things. But yet still, you and Pastor Clive Duttins go on there preaching to the youths, stop, which you all are right. But how hard does it make you all jobs when them same youths watching that them big boys up there by doing whatever and they have no consequences to suffer?
It makes it a lot harder for us, yes. But it's not just the youth looking, you know. We have to talk about we who are adults now. How much we have been ingrained as well, right? You have to look at the fact that it's not just now we've been here and talking from one particular government. We've been here and talking from the beginning of our time. We have seen multiple people come and take leadership, not only political parties. Sometimes there's religious leaders. Sometimes there's advocates. We've seen people who have been in the public light, who have done wrong, continue to do wrong, whether they rape people and get away, whether they thief money and get away, whether whatever banner they was carrying, whether it was religion, whether it was race, whether it was a banner political or a political banner. And we have seen that from the ground. So it's not just about the youth. So we also tolerate and permit certain things and make it a normal and normalize disrespect in certain places. It is something that has been ingrained in us. Because I sit here and just today listening to your show and watching some of the comments as well, and it shows how divided and how well devised plans are taken through the flow of our time and our history, where people have used our diversity to divide us, whether it was religion, whether it was race, whether it was political differences. Because you all sat here and identified legitimate cases that took place under each administration. I heard you all talk about some taking place under the PNM. I heard about you all talking some that took place under the UNC. Yet, we as Trinidad and Tobagonians will support the two parties that we have identified at points in time in our life have been able to plunder some part of our treasury or done something wrong and still justify it. And people might be vexed with me, but me as a rational thinking human being who's supposed to have common sense, because I don't have no political affiliation to either side or either person, but just as a person with some moral fiber, supposed to say, how can I have allegiance to anybody? I don't care if it was then, I don't care if it was now. If historically we've seen things that has troubled us, that is as foolish as me saying, let me go by the Susuman and the Susuman sons after him, who we know does take his hand and does keep people hand and don't give them back the hand and don't give your hand when it's your time to get it. Who man in Trinidad and Tobago so stupid to keep investing in that Susuman in his area? Who continues to do that? But we continue to do that because we will say, I am a PNM until I dead. We will say, I die UNC, my mother born at UNC, I will die at UNC. And we as people are more concerned than allegiance to party governments opposed to country governance. And that is where we have our problem. We ourselves, PNM men will never stand up and call out the Prime Minister or call out the President or political leaders who do this shoppiness now. Let the government change. UNC supporters will never stand up and call them out on shoppiness as well. And that is where our problem lies. And then it have those who don't care about political allegiance because they see both sides don't care. So what their thoughts and thinking is, we will plunder no matter who is in power because nobody don't like we. So that is what you see coming out of the youths today. So we as ourselves as as adults, have a social responsibility. If you just look through comments and any talk, when it comes to politics, there's always racial divide. More than we coming together as our people to realize the value of our unison.
I wanted to pause there, and because I want Michael Kerr intervention, where he read of Dr. Rowley saying how long we the people watch these things happening from back then till to the parliament. Mikey, remember what I'm talking about? With Dr. Rowley?
Yeah, this was at
yes, go ahead, Mikey.
This was at the CARICOM Crime Symposium.
Yes.
And Dr. Rowley said today, if there's one aspect we may all be guilty of, is that the problem of criminality and violence was not dealt with sufficiently in a much earlier time frame. In the homes, in the schools, in the prisons, in the courts, and he dares say, in the parliaments. He added that we allowed slow, moderate, defiant, behavioral trends to increase.
Well, somewhat of an admission, but what are we going to do about it now? If that is the realization, what is the action plan now? What is the strategic plan? It's nice to say anything, but if we identify that it is our bad behavior, and what it has done is wedged a very dangerous gap between our people. If you know what has hurt me when I go to our comment section and the type of racial slurs between East Indian and African people, just because they have a political preference, that should never be. Your political preference should never be because somebody look like you. I just use an example of a Susu man. Long and short of the story, they don't stay with a Susu man because he look like you. You have to consider yourself as a people and decide what is the best move for me. The Tobagonian people did that, you know. And at the end of the day, yes, some people may say, look how we turn and look how they whatever, but you have to try to effect some kind of change. If you're not seeing, you can't say, I know this one since I born in this and I go die this. You understand? I myself will not be involved with any political things because politics at this point in time is something I don't see any moral fiber in. But what I'm saying, if you are so politically driven and you have that drive for your party and your people, you could be the reformer of your party. If you're seeing things in your party that you're not happy with, then you have to be the one to change it. Nobody telling you change your allegiance to your party, but change your party itself. If you see your party have little racism inside it, change it yourself. If you see your party have little nepotism and foolishness taking place, change it yourself. And that is what we have to do. We could never move forward if we continue to do it in a divided manner. And the same people who we saying you want to move is the same people who will stay there forever. Unless the people of Trinidad and Tobago put aside the diversity. Our diversity is our blessings, brothers and sisters. The fact that we have different races is our blessings. The fact that we have different food and different culture is our blessing. You imagine if it was one race and we alone walking on the planet, walking on the earth? I wanted to remember how COVID was, and we was dying together no matter we race, no matter religion, no matter we economic status. We die and bury together during COVID, boy. We forget that. We didn't care if we were sitting down next. When COVID released, nobody cared about race. When you was dying and you wanted blood or you wanted whatever, we didn't care what race, we didn't care about them things. But you see, these are the things that political people and those who have political intent will never speak in public, because the fear is that if you could keep the herd together, then the herd will be bigger than the predators. And that is the problem. That is the fear. And until we realize that and we start looking at country's governance, we will always be failing looking at political governance. All the time, know your holy allegiance and call out the party that you have allegiance to when they're doing stupidness. And that goes for both sides. The kind of division. They get in one side talking, calling for a certain activity. I hear they say that old video, calling about a certain activity against a particular race. Then you hear the next side come up to say, is this race doing that? These are things, whether or not we want to admit that it may have some level of truth to it or whatever. These are things that we must address in a smart manner so that we don't incite hate and war amongst our people, boy. We have a blessing that many in the world don't have. I travel to China. They never see an African or never see an Indian in their life. They was amazed to see what an African look like, what an Indian look like. At time I travel there, an Indian friend of me, with an Indian friend of mine and myself. We have that blessing of diversity. It didn't come about the right place because it was slavery and indentureship and all kind of colonial calamity that caused us to come together. But we together now. And it is time for us to shelve that because we will continue to be divided and we will go nowhere forward. But if we be real and practical, I sat here and listened to you all identified in the two leading majority parties where instances you all identified where monies have been stolen, millions of dollars by both administrations. Yet we still sit and support the Susu man, the same two Susu men. I'm not telling all the change all the political allegiance, but what I am saying is that you must become involved in your party in a sense where you could change the moral fiber of the party.
So truth. That is truth. And that's why young people should get themselves involved. Thanks so much, my brother. Trinidad and Tobago, that's the Single Fathers Association president.
Mr. Rundle Fields.
Mr. Rundle Fields, man. Boy, very powerful. Mr. Seals, very, very, very powerful, man. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Oh, boy. Thanks. And Mikey, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. And now I want you to read the opposition Kamla Prasad Bisesa, which nobody could ever say that lady ever. And I encourage Kamla Prasad Bisesa to sue Dr. Rowley for that nastiness. I encourage that. So they will know it will set a precedent that anybody up there, well, let's see our leader Rowley getting sued for lying and defaming people, don't do it. But if me and Mikey talk and we say something out of the way, only on we. So what is this, Kamla? Tell the people now what it is, the letter that Kamla Prasad Bisesa now.
But Mr. Fields is speaking about a level of social maturity. And again, that level of social maturity is not going to come about if we do not engage Robert Amar's plan for the reform. You must get that, regardless of what. We could sit here and talk until we're blue. You have to sign. You must sign. The power has to get into our hands. We need to have that level of social maturity. That's what we don't have. And when you don't have that, then you're going to have leaders who are going to be quite socially, politically juvenile in their thinking and things that they are trying to articulate. And according to Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the political leader of the UNC and opposition leader, she says that Dr. Key Rowley must know that racial tensions can be incited by falsely accusing her of making divisive statements. It is most irresponsible, it is dangerous, and downright nasty politics. Our good friend from La Horquita used to say, listen, I have a prize, I have an award for anybody who could tell me something that this administration has done in the last 7+ years that has benefited the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We leave the line open. We say, call in whoever you are. Tell us about your personal experience. Maybe some kind of policy that was implemented that helping you and your family and by extension your community. Nobody could call in and say that. Nobody. So why shouldn't the focus be there then? What's your accomplishments? What have you done? What legislation have you brought that is working to deal with, whether it be crime, whether it be education, whether it be healthcare, whether it be infrastructure? What have you done? When have you ever said anything to us besides plywood factory and some pipe dream and some pie in the sky that simply never materialized? It never did. And you never had a contingency. You never had anything to say, all right, well, this is what we're going to do to make sure that we get direct foreign investment. This is the direction that we're heading. You have the Hobbit telling us one time, hey, things are good, we turn around. Then you come around and you contradict that and say, hey, it's our hard times coming. You know, not for 1 minute do you believe that this is going to be smooth sailing. I mean, we confused. We don't know if we're going left, if we're going right, if we're going up or down. And to make these statements at a time like that, when you should be trying to, you know, bring us together.
Unite the country.
unite the country. You are making these kind of statements that is defamatory of of Kamala's character and flies in the face of many years in politics, where she has always celebrated our national unity and harmonious diversity. You have to know that this thing is reckless, it is irresponsible, it is dangerous, and to me it is way past downright nasty politics. You have to be desperate. You have to be desperate, because nobody is saying, hey, come in front of the gate and tell them about this and that and what they could do. No, you talking about jump the wall. You must jump the wall. Chile Davine come to say, hey, let me tell you, let's have this program going on, that program going on. Come with your big voice. Come and tell people, no, you must jump the wall. You must jump the wall. I mean, come on. After 7+ years, you've offered us nothing. And understand, we do things here by the ballot, not by the bullet. But are we ready? First step of winning is wanting to win. Is wanting to win.
Say it again, Mikey K. Say it again.
First step when it comes to winning is that you must want to win. And when we start attacking each other, whether online, on chat groups and so forth, that is not going to help us restore good governance. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but understand, do not be easily derailed when they knock out the real narrative and come with some nonsense and get you fighting this one and that one. It doesn't make sense. Crime should never be a political football. We are entitled to that. Our safety should never be used to gain any political points. We are entitled to that. It is about us, the people. You have two mature individuals who say, listen, I'm putting aside my politics and I want to help, because we can never live in our country and continue to live in our country where we have more murders than days of the year already. So here comes Kamala Persad-Bissessar and Gary Griffith to say, listen, Gary said, do you want our office? I go do it out on the field. Just give me my team, give me little resources, and let me go and help you with this thing now, man. Kamala Persad-Bissessar said, come, let me sit down, let me work this thing out. But the only response you could come up with is that they say that them doing the killing, and it's only them doing it, and this one doing it, and that's the best you can offer us after so many murders in this country. Rather than to unite us, you divide us even more, you polarize us even more. Why? Because it benefits you politically, and nobody around can tell the emperor that he's politically naked, because what, you end up in the doghouse, and yet you're coming to tell us about country and country this and country that and we country. None of them that preaching that are sincere about it. Not one of them. Because they will tiptoe around the issue, they will dance the merengue and cha-cha and not say, hey, Dr. Rowley, you are wrong. What's coming out of your mouth does not make sense. The country does not need it at this time. We never need that. We need to unite. We need to send a strong message to criminals. You told us that 2,000 plus of our students has fallen through the crack. And through that crack, how many of them are lying down in a pool of blood? How many of them are incarcerated? When they fall through that crack, how do we get them out of that crack and get them back as law-abiding, productive citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? You rather give up on them and move on as though nothing has happened, that you don't even want to sit down and have a discussion about crime so we can save more young people from slipping through those cracks. You simply do not care. You don't care. Oh gosh, you don't care.
Before it's too late, please. Oh God. Wake up! Wake up, TNT! Oh God! Wake up! Wake up!
Develop a sense of self-reliance. You must
develop a sense of confidence. And you must know and remember that parliamentarians are your servants and that you are the lords of the land. And so I ask you to put your hand on your heart, every one of you, and shout after me, I am the government.
I am the government.
Louder, I am the government.
You are the government.
I am the government.
We are the government. And sometimes we learn that. And when we understand that, all of this will change. They come to serve you. You ain't come here to serve them. Go ahead, Mikey.
It could never make sense, Andy. It could never make sense when you trying to tell these young people, hey, stay away from that crack, don't fall through that crack, and you have absolutely nothing to offer them. And they must hear that one man who they say that you must call honorable is the line minister for certain financial institutions in this country, which we're talking about credit unions, and you need $14 million to do what? To do what work? How much of that work, according to your leader, according to the Prime Minister, is going to help those young men in Belmont, Laventille, Sealots, Beetham, Mova, and environs to get 1 day's work? How much of that $14 million is going to help remove those tents from the hospital and actually build a ward on the extension of the hospitals in this country? How many of that $14 million is going to help people not going into a pothole and ending up somewhere in China like you lost? How many of that 14 million is going to help at least give technology in the hands of our young students so they too can go out there and compete on the global market? What is that $14 million for? The youth ain't stupid, they could count, they know how to count. $14 million. Why? Why does it seem that this government wants to control the credit unions? How is it that you have a commissioner, Deborah Ann Scott, with so many questions to answer? How you could want to challenge ECU AGM on one point that you interpreted incorrectly, and you know many other credit unions did just what Eastern did, but you only want to raise the matter with ECU. Why? You as a commissioner, Deborah, you as a person leading a government agency, you should be fair and balanced to all credit unions. And this is being fair and balanced. No, it is not. When you behave like that, you must resign. It's either you don't know your job or you're misbehaving in office. It's either one of the two. You must resign. If it's both, then you must resign. This does not add up. It doesn't add up. Young people listening to the ground report, and they're frustrated.
And the feel is stupid, you know, Mikey. Them really feel that them born them in the block that they feel in no education ain't see through and know everything what's going on.
You feel they know who eating? You feel they know it didn't add it up? They go tell not me, you see me? Dan I go Dan I pat down for a minute, you know. I watching, you know. I watching what's going on. Watching what's going on is a lot, you know. When you're observing is a lot, you know. You're looking at every fine detail, you know. Because many of these youths who had ambitions, you ever ask them how they end up in that situation? What about the one who just needed a little bit of money to buy a welding plant? She could go out there and learn a trade. Mommy didn't have it. Daddy couldn't be found. All right. Any other $14 million going and help that? What about the one who had the plan to go and after he learned arc welding, he want to go and do underwater welding with some company offshore? He get the training. He had any way to get to the training. He had access to the training. Yeah? $14 million going to help him. That out of that $14 million. We want to control these credit unions for. At no time in our history we've had all this bacchanal going on when it comes to credit unions. It's Eastern, it's Agricola, it's World Credit Union, it's Venture. What you want to do with $14 million? To do what? What contract business? You are a sitting minister who's supposed to do work for the ministry. If you want to run your private business, step down and go and run it. The youth's looking at that.
Foster comments. The youth's looking at that. Go ahead, Mikey K.
Of course, they're looking at that. It don't add up at all. Every day they're hearing that some people just believe they must have everything, every single thing, and they must be left, we, the rest of us, must be left with nothing, and we have to pay the price for that. Go down on the ground and talk to the youths. Find out how they reach there. If you just so know, it didn't happen just so. You know why? Because it wasn't dealt with sufficiently in a much earlier time frame. That's how it ended up in the home. And from the home, that's how they end up on the street. And on the street, that's how they end up in that pool of blood. And then that it was in the school. From there, it went in the prison. Then it went in the courts. And don't just say parliament, because it ended up in the church too, because there was silence there. You don't care about the standings of your congregation. You care about what going inside that basket. You don't know that Miss Mary last set of money that she wants to put some food on the table, but she believing in false hope. You just want Miss Mary money. You don't care about Miss Mary children. You don't care that they're suffering. You ever sick, bring them. Let me talk to them. Some of the money in the basket could go and buy the welding plant. I know a training course. We go buy a car. Take 6, 7 of them down every morning. Give them some reason to feel alive. Give them a sense of purpose of being. No. That ain't happening. And that is why today, Deborah Ann Scott, because you know why? Because we didn't deal with her in a sufficient, much earlier time frame. Jerome Chambers, Hyacinth, Clarence Moore, all of them believe that they're operating on infinity. But let them know as of today on the ground report, time, my friend, time is longer than twine, and the days are numbered. We are not going to stay silent. Wrong is wrong. The youth's looking on. And according to the Prime Minister, if it is we didn't deal with it all the time, I guarantee you we're dealing with it now. It will come out of the house. It will come out of the school. It will come out of the prison. It will come out of the courts. It will come out of the parliament. And most of all, they will come out of office.
And then what would you say now? Because you talk about the youths and all of this. How would you castigate this, what was said by our Prime Minister again? Tell us.
Well, that is so cliche. I'm not really trying to interfere with the bridge between the rich and the poor, because there's nothing wrong with the rich getting richer, but the poor must come out of poverty. Right? So
well, that's kind of bridging the gap, you know?
That is the equation. It's not a seesaw where one has to go down for the other one to come up. You have to find a way that you encourage the rich to get richer, because in getting richer, they create opportunities for the poor. Opportunity. And of course, if one wants to take advantage of opportunities that are made available, one has to prepare oneself, right, to make the sacrifice.
Go ahead, Mikey K. What says thou with that statement, knowing of all those things you just touched there? I know what's saying. What says thou with our Prime Minister saying this? Is he right?
Andy, I want you to play that again. In case you went by Scooby to get something to smoke and you're coming back, I don't want you to miss this. In case data run off on your phone and you're trying to get a phone card somewhere out there with Anderson and them, don't move from the block. I don't want you to move from the block. I want you to meditate on this. Don't move. Which part, wherever you are. Move Laventille, Beaton, Belmont, and environs. Who ain't getting one day's work? I want you to listen to this. Play it again, Andy.
Nice. You listen to the #1 program, The Ground Report. Many of you are locked on. Don't switch that dial, but I will have to do you all like Howie, because I know you all will remain there. We're going to take a quick break and come back. When we come back, more right here on The Ground Report. We'll be back. Don't switch that dial, as he say. Let me and all. Let me go. I and all go and get charged up. Yeah. We can't go nowhere. Time for me to charge up, man.
Develop a sense of self-reliance. You must develop a sense of confidence. And you must know and remember that parliamentarians are your servants and that you are the lords of the land. And so I ask you to put your hand on your heart every one of you, and shout after me, I am the government.
I am the government.
Louder, I am the government.
I am the government.
I am the government.
I am the government.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report, the ground report.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petrotrin.
The Ground Report, the ground report.
I would think that there's been very clear that all the employees of Petrotrin will exit the company. All.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
This season of Lent, get more options from Royal Castle with their 3 tasty meal specials. Meals made with the freshest fish, seasoned with the Castle's appetizing Trini ingredients and cooked to golden perfection. Choose from the fish combo, 2 succulent pieces of fish, 1 side and a 16-ounce soft drink, or the fish sandwich combo of a tender, tasty sandwich, 1 side and a 16-ounce soft drink, or even a flavorful veggie combo option of a sandwich, a side and a 16-ounce soft drink. Get more options from Royal Castle. Our culture, our taste for Lent.
The 13 Frederick Street, Port of Spain. So you're looking for the best prices in gaming products? Come on down and visit Sheltec Electronics, the Gamer's Paradise. Get the latest PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch system. Games and accessories, Apple Stream, Roblox cards available. Daily clearance items up to 70% off. Pre-order new releases and save 15%. Come on, visit us online at sheltechelectronics.com. Cash in on the bargain. Sheltec Electronics, 11 to 13 Frederick Street, Port of Spain, 627-3757. Cash in on those bargains now.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in here with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with 0 down, longer repayment terms, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/GearUp. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Drink that's transforming what you expect from a beverage. U-Juice is 100% natural and has the power of red ginseng, turmeric, ginger, and the world's strongest antioxidant, astaxanthin. Your new favorite drink has arrived. U-Juice, en route to the ultimate you.
U-Juice. And when we drink, we get a natural boost.
Arima, the Juve Cooler Experience. Arima, Sunday, 18th June 2023. Arima, your robe is your ticket.
More 104.7, the official station for Arimas.
Club Life is back and it's taking over Uptown Port of Spain at London 868 Ultra Lounge.
Push us, cause we're close to the end.
Saturday, 6th of May, we take you to Club London. Ladies, get listed to enter free before 11 p.m. Enjoy complimentary wine. Men, you also pay half price before 11 p.m. Welcome back to Club Life. But you must be listed. To get your name on the list, send a message to 732-6849. Club Life is back. We party in a sexy ambience with music that never gets old. So dress to impress and let's party like there's no tomorrow. Club Life is you. Brought to you courtesy More FM 104.7 and DMTV America. Hold up. Bringing clubbing back to life in Uptown Port of Spain. Club Life is back at London 868 Ultra Lounge.
Chinese and Ari Restaurant, number 67, Western Main Road, opposite Standard. For breakfast daily, Monday to Sunday, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. On the menu, sada roti, fry bake, roast bake, pie, coffee, tea, Milo, vegetable pizza, pancakes with assorted vegetables. Lunch specials daily from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Chicken pilau, $25. Assorted lunch from $25 to $40. Soup specials and crab and dumpling. Delivery of food available. Dinner a la carte on the pavement from 6 p.m. until burgers, chicken sandwich, hot dog, fries and chicken, nuggets, shrimp burger, gyros, and anything else you can think about. Call 382-9347 to place your orders 7 days a week.
Trinity Lighting, 123 Western Main Road, St. James. Special on LED bulbs. Purchase 4 LED bulbs for $100, get 2 free. Trinity, they stock a wide variety of electrical supplies and specialize in light bulbs and parts for all your residential, commercial, marine, and medical fixtures. Remember, buy 4 LED bulbs for $100, get 2 free. 628-8373 or 622-6935. Check them out on Facebook, Trinity Lighting ETC Ltd. Or shop online at trinityetc.com. In the Miami area, contact them at 305-354-2033 or 305-932-0727. Remember, Trinity Lighting welcomes you to their main store, 123 Western Main, St. James.
Are you disappointed by astrologers and pundits? Then meet third generational Pandit Narasimha. He uses traditional methods and gives solutions in problems like marriage, relationship, love, business, job, health, and removes all negativity, black magic, bad luck permanently. Specialist in reuniting with your ex. Call Pandit Narasimha 359-3939. That's 359-3939.
Welcome to M&M Pharmacy. Strategically located next to Eastside Supermarket in Sangre Chiquito, Sangre Grande. For all your healthcare needs and much more, M&M Pharmacy will give you customer service like no other. Your health is your wealth.
That's right. Hunty's Fast Food and Catering Service is here to serve all their customers. We cater for weddings, functions, birthday parties, fetes, all-inclusive events, and more. And coming soon to shelves and supermarkets nationwide, their succulent garlic sauce, pepper sauce, and honey mustard.
What you do when you're feeling hungry? I don't know about you, but I love my Hunties. Yeah, what fries with crispy wings?
Yes, please.
Breastbone, yeah, dicey ting.
Yes, please.
My brother, my mother, and my auntie, all them love to eat his Hunties. Yeah, what fries with crispy wings?
Yes, please.
Breastbone, yeah, dicey ting.
Yes, please. Get in on the most delicious menu at Hunties. 3 locations nationwide. 113 Old St. Joseph Road, corner of Church Street in Laventille. Number 1 Cipriani Street in Movo. And our newest location, 11th Street and 6th Avenue in Barretaria. Open 7 days a week. Are you hungry? Then call us up 229-0812. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hunties Fast Food and Catering. Hunties, where the food is always delicious.
Everybody's idea of home is different. So every mortgage should be unique, shaped around you, flexible to move and change as you do. RBC will come to you to get you started and stay by your side to help guide you every step of the way. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/home story and start your story today. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at RBC Caribbean.
Sell-Off Promotions and Beats by Robin present Mix Up Colors at the River Ranch, Arima, Sunday, 2nd July. Stay tuned for more info.
Green Dot continues to deliver internet connectivity to a wide range of communities in Trinidad. With our combination fiber and wireless network, you get the service you need wherever you live. Stream your favorite shows, enjoy online tuition, stay in touch with your work team, and connect with friends and family with internet service at a price you can afford. As communities continue to grow, we continue to deliver. Call 224-GDOT or visit gd.tt today. Green Dot, improving and simplifying lives.
Looking to complete your home or business project? Well, the place is Michelin Hardware. We carry a large selection of roofing and plumbing supply, lumber, steel, water tanks, tools, and more. Get your sand, gravel, sand filled by the bag, yard or load. No one beats our prices. Visit us at M&R Building, number 97, Eastern Main Road, Aruka, or call 646-2144. WhatsApp 327-7761. Michelin Hardware.
What goes in is a local something that makes it all taste better. It's the flavor of our culture come from here, come from there, and everywhere. It's the special flavor that's made us savor and the royal class.
Round Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Disclaimer. More FM Limited, its owners and associates, accepts no responsibility for statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests. More FM Limited does not endorse any of the information provided during this commercially booked segment as the truth. That you have to judge for yourself. We, however, reserve the right to question statements made. But in this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and corruption, it is sometimes hard to get the truth. But we must try. It is not our intention to discriminate or annoy anyone. We believe it is our constitutional right to free speech, to voice our opinion, and our duty to the population and country to expose the truth. More FM Limited takes no responsibility for the opinions of others.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams, Michael Kerr, and Lennox Smith, the Ground Report team on M1047 as they rip apart the lies, half-truth, and misinformation that the mainstream media never discuss. The Ground Report. Hard-hitting, informative, undiluted, uncompromising, and unfiltered. Monday to Friday on M104.7 FM. Get the raw facts before making any life-changing decisions. Only on The Ground Report.
Yes, folks, we are back. We are back. Hey, let me say a pleasant good morning to all the good folks that are locked on Sister Isle, Tobago, all our Caribbean brothers and sisters, and of course, all the Real Media TT family and our good folks listening right here on More 104.7 FM. Friday, we'll definitely have to do a roll call. It's been a while since we've done the roll call. All the good folks that are locked on, all in the chat groups, pleasant good morning to you as well. Andy? Yeah, he's around. All of these things that was said, and Dr. Rowley made it quite clear that the problem of criminality and violence was not dealt with sufficiently in a much earlier time frame. And of course, based on his comments made over the weekend at the Sports Day in Toko, when he made some statements that was definitely not favorable to the opposition leader, she's now saying she wants an apology and as well have it retracted. Interesting. Where do we go from here? And you want to open up the lines and take some calls from the good folks on the outside, give them the number. Don't forget, coming up next, we have Sense and Sensibility. And of course, May 6th, let me remind the good folks again about what's taking place with our brother Victor Roberts. Come out in your numbers, It's all happening, of course, from Aranguez, Savannah to Woodford Square. Assembly is at 12:30. 12:30 at the Aranguez, Savannah. And from 1 p.m. we begin. And the meeting will be held when we get down to Woodford Square from 4:30 p.m. So we are going to be there until 6 p.m. So please, citizens demand safety and security march led by our brother, our colleague, the man himself, social activist Victor Roberts, from the Aranguez, Savannah to Woodford Square this Saturday, May 6th. So we're going to gather at the Aranguez, Savannah at 12:30 and make our way down to Woodford Square.
We will do that.
Yes,
but with
indeed.
all what was said, now we reach back Trinidad and Tobago to this last part that we told you all. Go, take a break. Don't switch your dial. And let me move on from it to it one time. Mikey, I'm playing this thing here. What's your thoughts?
Well, that is so cliche. I'm not really trying to interfere with the bridge between the rich and the poor, because there's nothing wrong with the rich getting richer, but the poor must come out of poverty. So
well, that's kind of bridging the gap, you know.
That is the equation. There's not a seesaw where one has to go down for the other one. No, come on. You have to find a way that you encourage the rich to get richer, because in getting richer, they create opportunities for the poor. Opportunity. And of course, if one wants to take advantage of opportunities that are made available, one has to prepare oneself to make the sacrifice.
One has to prepare oneself to make the sacrifice. So it's not about a matter of a seesaw where one has to go up for one to come down, or whatever the case may be. But yet still, where's the balance? Where's the balance in all of that, Andy? Because the same people that you're saying, right, there's no problem with making the rich, wealthier, or richer as the case may be. They themselves are now complaining because all of their profits has to go into their personal security, whether it be more cameras, more surveillance equipment, more security guards, whatever the case may be. So they have now become soft targets. So what's going to happen to their profit line?
They're in trouble.
It's all a domino effect. That's how our society runs. It's all a domino effect. Once the administration, if there's a good administration and good governance, then you understand the steps that you need to take so it doesn't end up in our homes. It doesn't end up in the schools. It doesn't end up in the prisons, in the courts, and in the parliament. Because you had no plan to begin with. That's why it was able to bolt out the stable. You don't know exactly what you were going to do, how you was going to harness this power. You had no idea. But it seems that there are many things that you didn't fall short on. And one of the things you didn't fall short on was the fact that these individuals benefiting their friends, their family, and their finances. Because the record number of times that they recused themselves from cabinet had nothing to do with the interests of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. They did that well. Even getting the $14 million plus, they did that well. And then after getting all of that, turn around now and telling the same fellas who didn't get 1 day's work that you were concerned about. You were so concerned that they got not 1 day's work, that you are absolutely doing nothing for them. And they're sitting down listening to this and saying, hey, this can't be right, you know. Can't be right, Andy.
Can't be right. So Trinidad and Tobago, we have approximately, the lines are open, You all had a lot of editorials. I ain't gonna lie, Mikey K on fire today. Watch me. If nobody understand how he break it down day today, with all those different, the man touch on everything. He put the blame where it had to go with everybody, including the churches. Give examples of what the church is supposed to do with the bag, with their offerings. Nah, boy. Let's go to the lines, Trinidad and Tobago. The lines are open. Make it short and sweet, eh? Morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution? Next caller. Morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution on the Gong Report this morning?
Andy, good morning, Trinidad. Let me tell you something. I am so fed up. Of everybody blaming each other. The UNC blaming the PNM blaming the UNC. This race talk. We party together when Carnival comes. When any other festivities, we do it together. I am so tired of this. We need to put aside all the race and get together and work together. Now, I'm not saying the UNC is not trying, but the problem is Rowley. He does not want to work with the people. He does not want to listen. Gary wants to step in. He doesn't want to listen to Gary. Kamala still wants to at least embrace him and see what they can do. Instead of fighting, right now the country needs unity. They do not need the leaders to be fighting. What you think the younger people in them seeing right now? And that is why they're behaving like that. So what happened if parliamentaries could behave like that? The opposition and the government could behave like that. What you think the youth's going to be doing now? Trinidad is a mess. And they have a good day though.
Thank you very much. But the only thing I will want to add, because I don't like to add on, and that's a view, but the only part I would want to add on is that the opposition, I being real, not doing that. And you know why we have to bring the opposition in it? Because I don't see the opposition, and let me be real, misbehaving and talking so in public, or operating stupid in parliament. For a matter of fact, why you see when I watching the parliament station from Bridget said, and he said, which judge, just it was no democracy in parliament night, and the youth seeing that too. You understand?
Yeah,
and
shutting down everything.
Yeah. So let me put the blame where the blame. If the opposition and stupidness at certain things.
You're right, Andy, you're correct. At the end of the day, Andy, many of us are tired picking up our phones and seeing these pictures of people just lying. These are people, somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's father, somebody's husband, somebody's wife. These people have a story. They didn't just drop from the sky. And you are blaming the fact that we turned the blind eye. The people who turned the blind eyes, the people who went and stained their finger for this. The people who don't want to hold these people accountable, the people who don't want to demand transparency, they're the ones that you should be blaming, not the right-thinking citizens. You don't want to meet with God. I can tell you right now, as head of the National Security Council, I have reasons why I don't want to meet with Gary. You have a problem being associated with certain people? Do you have a problem being associated with young ladies at carnival time where you could perhaps be their grandfather? You have a problem being associated with that? Or you have a problem being associated with somebody who got $14 million and want to run their own private business but still want to stay on as a minister? You have a problem being seen with them on stage? You have a problem talking to Delcy Rodriguez, meeting with Maduro, who is wanted for narco trafficking? You seem to have a problem with the people around you very conveniently. I don't understand that.
So I shoot Mikey.
Whatever reason for this pettiness that you have, we are suffering, we are dying. We don't have 24 security detail. We don't have blue flashing lights. We don't have people ready to jump out and take a bullet for us because they were trained to do that. We don't have that. We have to make our own schedule. As the sun going down, we running inside as though we're trolls or something. We need to get in. I mean, come on. We can't even come out to open the gate. We have to make sure no car didn't follow us. We have to make sure that the dogs come out. I mean, and you telling us that you don't want to meet with certain people and we must just fall down here like flies because of your pettiness, your schoolyard antics about me talking to Sheena and me talking to you. Who take my tulum? My tamarind ball missing. You are my uncles. And while that we dying. Who's on the outside?
Caramba. The lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead, caller.
Morning.
Pleasant good morning to you. Where are you calling from? And what's your contribution on the Gong Report this morning?
My contribution is, all of this is designed to keep the population disheveled. As long as they instill a spirit of lack, fear, poverty, disease, death, all the negative components within the society, they can easily control us. That way we will throw our hands up, and whatever they dish out for us, we would think that they are the savior. I'm sick and tired of these people who keep calling and asking about what the opposition will do. You understand? Why don't they do? The opposition is not in government. They might be part of the government, but you need to keep playing the tape for them. Let them hear what Rowley say. that he's not going to do nothing to work with Kamala Persad-Processor. So, you see these PNM operative, let them wind by the side.
Also, Andy, this morning, coconut growers, come on, man, come with some kind of program. Take about 6-7 people from the BTM and offer them some kind of employment, man. Help out.
That coconut growers.
These same youths that crying out when you're driving with your Prado and your AC and your window up well tin, you say, oh my gosh, look like somebody got gunned down there. What happened? I hope it doesn't disrupt today's business. Oh my goodness, the police didn't reach yet? Get them off the street, get them off the street. It's those same people that falling through the cracks. Anybody at CJ, please come up with some program to help about 5 or 6 of them in the beat them, man.
No, you know what tell me about coconut growers, Mikey K? Oh God, coconut growers. When you're passing your car, all the things smelling good, all the coconut oil. But in making all the thing, these same people in the beat and environs that all they don't want to give a job to had to be taking all that waste coming down the drains through the beatum from coconut growers, smelling stink. Oh God! So while they're killing them with all the disease coming out in the drains, they're going through beatum and environs. Oh God, get them work to be able to buy medication for the nastiness that the factory throwing all through the place there now.
Let me just clear up that we don't know if the water is polluted. We don't know if there's anything that's causing any medical concern. But our main concern here is please reach out. Do your corporate responsibility and reach out and see how best you can assist 5-6 of them in some apprenticeship program or something, man. We cannot live away from the community, and businesses need to understand that. We cannot live away from the community. We have to give back. Sandy Grandy, only trucks coming in and out. I don't know what's going on in Grandy. That's why Grandy has to be for Andy and Andy for Grandy, because he understands what's happening there on a daily basis. Resources are only depleted and taken out every day. But what are they giving back to the people of Sandy Grandy and environs? What are the programs for the young people? It can't be about Andy going there and talking to them. And I mean, they're telling them the same thing over and over. The boss, you don't understand. We just hear on the radio, But the boss here, man, this thing. We went by Monroe and they said, oh my gosh, let's do better for them, man. We can't have them falling through the cracks. Look at them. You know them since they was babies. You can't be the one to go down and identify them, to go and attend their wake.
Yes.
When there's an opportunity to give them. Oh gosh, man. Yeah, boy. Robert Amar is just running a little behind there. There's some traffic this morning. Apparently there's something going on in the west. So, and yet still he has a helicopter.
That might be a day of policing, but then let me take the call.
He has a helicopter.
And Mikey, you want to watch that before we take that? As Andy for Grandy start to show interest, as the ground report start to highlight all the issues and what going on in Grandy and ding, you ain't see all of a sudden in Toko, quite Toko, where are the boss people in by? To leave an impression of what? One road fix? A patch thing and Monroe, waste that time Monroe. Right, and welcome to the community. That it's same youths that Mikey saying come follow the cracks. That you wouldn't organize and talk to all the quarry owners, the businesses, or any kind of wealth that coming out of the Grandian environs, to be able to come back to the communities. Some of the roads and things bad. You telling me some of the things, materials that build roads. You, Monroe, ain't enough balls to organize and negotiate and help the people, boy. And if it is so, and they go help you as the MP, and they want to get a truck, you telling me you can mobilize with the Sandy Grandy Regional Corporation to get a truck where it look at full that truck, and you go to your people, patch the roads. Oh God, you don't know body with a backhoe. For some people saying they just want this drain clear by. Nah, man. I know why I know, because I love to do what does. Man, let me go to the lines now.
So true. No, I think Robert is on location. Mr. Amar is ready.
He's ready?
He's on location.
All right.
He's on location. He's there. Just got it. Was up. Either he got a police escort or something, but he arrived on time.
Well, Mikey, boy.
Well, folks, don't forget later on.
Yes.
8 o'clock. Corridor Transformation, our very own Lennox Smith, and yours truly tomorrow night back on Guile TV, of course, Tigo, Facebook, and Player from 7 p.m. And again, Grandy, I hope you're ready. We hearing your complaints. Andy hearing your complaints. So when we start rolling community microphone up there, please, you have to come out in your numbers because Grandy needs help. It needs help. And the opposition leader, kudos to you. You want an apology? Demand your apology. Don't let nobody push you around. Enough is enough. We tired of that. We feel it is. We soft targets. All of a sudden the UNC is what? Political soft targets? Just turn the other cheek? Wrong is wrong. You go pay for your mouth.
Yes, and remember he like to tell people to go pay for them own. But he go pay for his own now.
We are out of here. Take care, folks. Be safe out there. Please be alert. Be aware. Be safe.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Disclaimer. More FM Limited, its owners and associates, accepts no responsibility for statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests. More FM Limited does not endorse any of the information provided during this commercially booked segment as the truth. That you have to judge for yourself. We, however, reserve the right to question statements made. But in this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and corruption, it is sometimes hard to get the truth. But we must try. It is not our intention to discriminate or annoy anyone. We believe it is our constitutional right to free speech, to voice our opinion, and our duty to the population and country to expose the truth. More FM Limited takes no responsibility for the opinions of others.
From every street corner to every block.
Yeah, I hope you're ready for this one.
It's More FM 104.7. You're listening
to More FM.
To More FM 104.7. Home of the icons. Fall in love with radio.
All over again.
All over again.
More FM
104.7.
The People's Champion Station.
More FM.
More FM
104.7.
The People's Champion.
Get it on!
Broadcasting live.
Broadcasting live.
From 177 Dragoreed Road. This is More FM 104.7.